Okay. So let me start out with my introduction. We'll take about half an hour tonight is all. It's just going to be an introductory session. The future sessions will be longer because there'll be a video and that kind of thing. So my name is Brian Searle. I'm the spiritual leader of Congregation Sons of Abraham. Some of the people here know me. And what we're going to do is we have this, this little course. It's going to take like a semester, and we'll do it on Thursdays every couple of weeks. And we have a schedule that we put together. Let me see if we can put the schedule up here on the screen. If I could share screen and look at the schedule. So this is our schedule. Tonight we're just going to do an overview. And the next time would be after Passover. We'll talk about Torah, Old Testament, and the Hebrew Bible. Then Israelite to Jew, the transition to a nation. Repentance. There won't be any class in May 28th because of the holiday of Shavuot. And then we'll talk about prayer, loving kindness, the Messiah, Jewish view of the Messiah, the world to come or the afterlife. We'll talk about Tisha B'Av, and we'll talk about Shabbat, Jewish laws and spirituality, and then the spring holidays. That would be through September. So people can come and go as they want to. We'll be recording these so that people can watch them anytime it's convenient to them. If they can't make it on a Thursday night, they can certainly watch it at their convenience. Are there any questions? No? Okay, so we're going to have, each class will be 30 minutes where we'll have an introductory discussion, and 30 minutes seeing a video lecture by a famous rabbi, and the final 30 minutes will be to any follow-up discussion. You can drop in at any time. You don't have to have any prior background. So let's stop the sharing and go on to our subject matter for tonight. So here we go. Slideshow, card slide. So the big thing is, what is Judaism? Is Judaism a religion? Is it a people? Is it a nation? Is it a race, as some people have said? Is it an ethnic group? And the question is, how do you become a Jew? One obvious way is being born to a Jewish mother or father, but also going through a process of conversion and becoming a Jew by choice. So it is possible to become a Jew. What does it mean to be Jewish? Well, some people think that it's the foods. Matzah, noodle kugel, corned beef and pastrami, gefilte fish. So there's a lot of things that people associate with Judaism that are related to food. Life cycle events. Judaism can be a bris, a circumcision. It can be a wedding, a bar mitzvah, or a funeral. For some people, it's coming to worship services. Some people just celebrate the holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Passover, of course, which is coming up. Some people think it means spirituality. It represents their connection to God. Some people connect to Judaism through the music. Israeli music, Jewish music, Jewish composers. Some relate to Judaism through the message, the Torah that they've carried for 3,000 years, and the message they have for the world. And also the mitzvot, the good deeds that people do that make them special, the things they can do to help other people. And some just say it's an affinity group. And they just want some people to be part of a group. And for them, Judaism is the community. There's many different ways that people view being Jewish. So we have a holiday coming up here, the holiday of Passover. It's also called Pesach, which means, of course, in Hebrew, Passover. Because at this time, the 10th plague was to take place. The 10th plague, which was the slaying of the firstborn children, and this angel of death was supposed to pass over the house of the of the Jewish families, the Israelite families that put lamb's blood on their door to ward away the angel of death. So they passed over, kind of like we're in our houses these days, and we're waiting for the plague to pass over here in here in our homes, because we don't know when the plague is going to come through and go away. So it's similar to Passover in that respect. In Hebrew, Passover is also called Hechag, the holiday. For many people, it's the main reason they get together with their family. If any other time, this is the big meal, the big Seder dinner that people share, and they have memories for their entire life of coming each year, coming together. For some people, this is their connection to Jewish history. It's a seminal event in our heritage and a universal theme, slavery to freedom. As you know, a lot of African-American spirituals, like Go Down Moses, Let My People Go, have the same theme of slavery to freedom. So it's a universal theme, not just for Jews. It also is an opportunity to become a nation with a mission. Because 50 days after the parting of the Red Sea and the escape from Egypt, the Jewish people get the Torah and the Ten Commandments, just 50 days later on Shavuot. So we have some symbols. The Seder means order, and we have a Seder plate. Most people have one, or they just make one up. I have one also. I have several. And the idea is to have these symbols of Passover on the Seder plate. The first one is karpas, which looks like parsley, or any type of green vegetable can be used, and it's a symbol, obviously, of spring. Here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, it was over 60 degrees today. So we think that's a sign that spring is coming. All the snow is melted by now. But also, we have a cup of salt water. So we're supposed to dip this karpas, this spring vegetable, into a bowl of salt water, because the salt water reminds us of the tears of these slaves in their labor. So we can't just celebrate without remembering the hard work and labor of the slaves in Egypt. The next one is called maror. Also on the Seder plate, maror is made from horseradish. And depending what part of the world people come from, they may use something else, like romaine lettuce, which is also called chazeret, because it becomes bitter if you let it sit for a while. But maror is typically horseradish, and it reminds us of the bitterness of slavery, because we actually eat this in a sandwich of matzah during the Seder meal. Another symbol on the Seder plate is the beitzah, the egg. The egg, of course, reminds us of new life because it's springtime, and also the cycle of the year because it's round. We also have the shank bone. This is a lamb shank, or it can be any kind of bone people use to remember the Paschal lamb, the sacrifice of the lamb overnight. We're supposed to use this blood to put on our doorways, but also to eat the Paschal lamb by the middle of the night, so there's nothing left in the morning. It's a sacrifice, but not to God, for us to consume. That's on the Seder plate. Another item on the Seder plate that I really love is charoset. Charoset is supposed to remind us of the mortar that they used to build pyramids or other buildings with the bricks that they made. And for us, we make it out of apples and walnuts and sometimes honey, but certainly grape juice or wine. So it actually tastes very sweet when we eat it in a sandwich. But it is a reminder of tougher times. And then the last item on the Seder plate is matzah. There's a couple of kinds of matzah available these days. The one on the left is a machine-made matzah. You can see the lines that the machine used to bake it. And on the right-hand side, you can see what's called shmura matzah. A shmura matzah means it's been observed from the time the grain was growing until the time that it gets put into the box. So after you very carefully supervised, it's much more expensive, and you can see it looks very primitive. This is probably very similar to the cakes of matzah they cooked in those, they baked in those days. It's also much more expensive. I just bought some for $20 for a box, where a box of matzah was only $3.49. So people will eat either kind of matzah, the shmura matzah being more traditional. So those are the symbols on the Seder plate. And the Seder is also very, very important because people are singing a lot. Because another thing we talked about, music was very important for Judaism and for holidays. And one of the songs we sing is called Dayenu. I don't know if you've heard the song before. Dayenu. So the song Dayenu says three things. If you had taken us out of Egypt, that would have been enough for us. If you took us out of Egypt and gave us the Sabbath, gave us Shabbat, that would have been good enough for us. If you took us out of Egypt, gave us the Sabbath, and also gave us the Torah, any one of those would have been sufficient on its own. Ilu Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu Natan lanu, et HaShabbat Natan lanu, et HaShabbat Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu Natan lanu, et HaTorah, Natan lanu, et HaTorah Dayenu. You get the idea. There are a lot of verses to it, but it's saying that we would have been satisfied if God did any one of these things for us. And we have, there's other songs that we have on here as well. People will be singing songs like Take Me Out to the Seder and other types of songs. And we're going to have a Zoom Seder next week on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. People can come online and share the Seder with us for an hour, sing the songs. All the songs and all the things will be on the screen. And then you'll be able to go and have your dinner with your family in your own homes. But we're going to share the Seder together because people aren't able to bring guests in or family from other places now because we're all sheltering in place. So that's all I wanted to show you today. So this is really kind of a startup. What we're going to do each week is have other subjects, as you saw, and this will be this is just an example of what we'll do. We'll have a video, and we'll have a discussion around it. Are there any questions about what I presented today? I don't know if you might want to unmute yourselves if you're muted, but.
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Anybody else? Great. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming today. Hope you'll be able to listen in on future lessons here in Basic Judaism. And we say for Passover, have a Chag Sameach, a kosher and happy Passover. Bye-bye. Stop recording.